The future is probably zero-click future. I imagine AI will soon not just make buying decisions, but also being able to buy for the client, for the user.
If you had to sum up SEO in 2025 in a sentence, what would it be?
I think we will be all fine. It's not as much about content format as about content structure.
Hello and welcome to the another episode of the Agency Insider Show. I'm your host Navneet Kaushal, and today we have a very special guest, someone who is an absolute legend in the world of SEO and digital marketing. She's the co-founder of Smarty Marketing, the former editor-in-chief at Search Engine Journal, and a contributor to Moz, BuzzSumo, and many more. If you are in SEO, you have definitely read her work or heard her speak. Please welcome Anne Smarty.
Hi everyone, and thank you for having me, Navneet.
Yes, so then let's start with your journey in search. I mean, you've been part of this space for over 2 decades, and not trying to make you feel old, I'm also been 2 decades old. Let's start from the top. What first drew you into the SEO and digital marketing, and how has your journey evolved over the years?
That's such a long story, so I'll make it short. I was very bored at my college, the final couple of years, started looking for a gig to get myself entertained, wasn't looking for a career, nothing like that, just something temporal. Got into an e-commerce little store that they were looking for a customer support person. And before I knew it, I was helping them with SEO, link building. They asked me to start a website that was SEOsmarty.com. It's a very old one, to share my findings, what I've learned about SEO. Then in a couple of years, maybe even less, in a few months, I became contributor to Moz, contributor to Search Engine Journal, then editor of that. It was very early age of SEO. It was very easy to stand out if you were active. It is still doable today, but then it was like little family of people trying to figure out what to do, what's right, what's wrong. After that, I became a well-known guest blogger because I was writing all over the web, started my own project that was facilitating those connections, people who were looking for contributors and people who were ready to write for someone. My Blogist, if you remember that, many years ago, it was a big hit. I was known, I think I still have that digital footprint of being a well-known guest blogger. Still there, not giving it, it's not getting rid of that. So I'm still known as a guest blogger. And after that, I came to the United States, joined Jim Boykin, also a legend in our industry, as his community manager. Then I became was analyzing his clients' websites. He was never looking for link builders, but he was looking for expertise in SEO and content marketing, which I fit in perfectly. And end of 2023, so about 18 months ago, I started my own first agency for SEO. I thought it was time. In more than 20 years, I was never caring about getting leads. People would just come knocking my door asking, can you be our SEO? And I was like, no, I'm not doing that as a freelancer. So now it's a new adventure for me, and that's what I'm heavily into at this point. A very interesting time to be an SEO and to own an SEO agency, I can tell you that.
Completely agree. I mean, I think you were the first person I found who recently started an SEO agency. I mean, not to take away the credit, but I mean, I would say somebody new. I mean, of course, you are old into the game, but somebody new starting an SEO agency, I'll be a little skeptical.
Yes. I'm lucky to be able to rely on my personal brand for sure, but still a terrible time. whatever my personal brand can do is still limited. I mean, yes, many people are closing agencies at this point, and I'm crazy enough to have started one. But we are very proud at being innovative. We are which I've been changing with Google for as long as I can remember. Google was evolving and I was evolving. I never stood still at one tactic that I invented 10 or 15 years ago. It's always changing. So I'm continue doing that with my agency as well.
Okay. Now, uh, so you have been an editor, tool builder, writer, strategist. So which role gave you the biggest learning curve?
Oh my God, they were all very important. And also, they were all at different points of my career. So, and if we get to talking about AI visibility, I will mention why it is not a good thing to have been doing so many things, because I don't really have one clear expertise. You know, when people say you cannot be good at everything, well, sorry. I've been doing so much throughout my career that I'm really good at many things in SEO. And I think I cannot really pinpoint one particular project that was the most influential. I think step by step, all of my ventures were contributing to my personal brand experience, expertise. So it's a tough question. My favorite time was when I had my bloggist, for sure. That little baby that I was so careful at building. It was not
Right.
perfect in any way, but I loved the idea. I loved people who were participating and were brand advocates for me. I think that was my favorite time. Feeling like I'm building something special, that was very, very emotionally satisfying. And it was painful to let it go as well. But emotional, that was my favorite time for sure. Not sure how much, if it was the most influential, but definitely the most favorite.
Yeah, but I think it was one website I would definitely myself had an account and I would everybody recommend. It was something, I think it had a different take on how the things were being done. So I definitely liked registering and finding websites, and yes, I love that. So is it
Yeah.
still around or it has shut down?
No, I sold it a while ago. I didn't feel that it could be that pure community anymore after Google basically penalized all guest blogging efforts, and we somehow became not okay. So, and because I'm for ethical marketing for as long as I've been in SEO, and I couldn't be continue doing that. It was almost like black hat tactic, which I never agreed to, because we remember we never ever let anyone pay for those articles, pay for
Yes.
links. It was all mutually beneficial.
Right.
I still feel like I understand why Google did that, but I still do not agree that we were doing anything wrong, for sure.
I agree. I don't think, I mean, and end of the day, SEO, I mean, you are trying to build links, which probably falls into an artificial thing. So we all are trying to do that. Even if I'm doing digital PR, in the back of my mind, I would have links. In the AI world, I would have brand mentions. But yes, that's
Yes,
the
but
intention.
exactly. But our idea was like we do not try to sneak in those links. If the publisher wanted the article, so the content was good enough for those citations, for those references. So it was all based on willingness of both parties to provide and publish. So yes, I'm with you. It was abused by many link building companies, and we were fighting with that as much as we could. But also, the funny story is that it was caused by Matt Cutts. Remember him from Google? At some point, some of his videos, it was 2013, I think. He was asked, he allowed people to ask him questions. So someone asked if guest blogging is okay for link building. And he said, yes, I don't see anything wrong with it. And guess what happened? Next day, we were flooded with link building agencies. Like everyone, like if it's okay, you know how it goes. I mean, I have no
Yes.
complaints. I made a lot of money from pro memberships at that point, but it definitely ruined the quality, the overall concept of guest blogging for just relationships, for like personal branding. Definitely, there were a lot of link builders at that point using the platform, which it is what it is. It's how the industry pivots. So we have to go with the flow.
Now, of course, we are almost midway into 2025. Now, if you have to sum up SEO in 2025 in a sentence, what would it be?
Collapse. and it's not my personal perspective. I personally do not go with the hype. I think it will all stabilize. Just a little turn around the corner. We will get focused and organized, but the whole perspective of people losing traffic and crying at every corner, oh my god, it's the end of the web, it's the end of SEO, I'm not going to invest money in SEO anymore because there are no clicks. All of that is literally creating that concept of disruption and the end of the era, which again, I'm not at that mindset. I think we will be all fine. It's still organic discoverability, organic findability. We will be fine. It's all the executives, all the people who do not deeply understand what is going on and just pulling budgets away, reading all those scary articles, how Google is stealing clicks and ending SEO and all of that is definitely something we have to cope with while we are fine again.
Right. On the topic of Google stealing clicks, and let's move to our next segment, which is of course surviving Google AI overviews. So, let's talk about the elephant in the room now. Google AI overviews. You have written and spoken a lot about how these are shaking up organic traffic. How serious is this shift, and what do you see as the biggest risk and opportunities for agencies and brands right now?
So I have answers for most business models, but publishing businesses, they rely on clicks too much. From experience, looking at my clients, looking at other SEO agencies that talk about their clients, those last clicks are not really impacting the bottom line. And I'm explaining why. So first of all, AI overviews is the summary of search results that give a very detailed, very satisfying answer. Sometimes it's wrong. It's not perfect for sure. In many cases, it's wrong. It's very easily confused, but it's getting better. Let's add that there. And also there is AI mode now that is very similar to AI overviews in a separate tab. But we are probably a few months away from it to go global, and at some point it may become the default tab for Google search. So we have to be for that too. So what is happening there is that most people seeing the detailed answer, giving them everything they needed, do not click anywhere, even if there are links inside the answer or to the right of the answer. People just don't need to click.
Right.
If you think about that, if those people are satisfied by that quick answer, they would not convert on your site anyways. That was their goal. They got the quick answer and they left. So if that is what they needed, that click is not much to lose, right? It's not going to convert anyways. That's why conversions are not as impacted as clicks at this point. What I suggest to my clients is to change content marketing strategy for those articles and to be not as easy to summarize, so that people would still need to click. So first, it's focusing on queries that are complex, probably with commercial intent, but not necessarily. Google refers to those queries as do queries. That's when people search for something not to find information, but to do something. It could be follow the instructions, it could be DIY, it could be buy, it could be any action, not necessarily commercial again.
Right.
So what you do on your site is create the instruction that cannot be easily summarized. That includes steps, adding pictures of whatever you need, videos, all those very complicated and very useful, very helpful instruction. And that will get a click anyway. And what happens? People who want to do something will not be first satisfied with a quick answer, even if they see it. They will still need to look for detailed instructions. And two, if you put your products in that context of solving the problem solution type of content is the best content right now you can create. That will be eaten by AI platforms, by LLMs, and you will be cited there as well. So you put your products in the relevant problem solution content. That helps on both fronts. It brings qualified leads, people who want to follow those instructions, and they will convert in many ways. And two, that increases visibility in LLMs too. So that is the best content. But that's not the only thing. You can also generate clicks in other ways. It could be original research, surveys, it could be tools, it could be something that cannot be easily summarized and still require a click to your site to accomplish something, to find out something, to engage with your site or to use the tool. That would be still bringing clicks. But again, clicks will still go down even more with AI mode. It is going to happen. It has been happening for about 10 years now. Featured snippets were leaking clicks because they gave great answers. People also ask, we're just keeping people on the site. All those calculators, quick answers, everything that Google showed was already stealing clicks. So we've been seeing that for many years now. It's just a little bit more dramatic this year. Nothing to lose your mind over. Focus on what matters. Focus on people you want to bring on your site, and continue with in that direction.
Right now, so are there any content formats you think are more resilient in this new AI first SERP environment?
It's not as much about content format as about content structure. But again, let's differentiate what the goal is. Whether it gets clicks, it's one goal. Again, it's much more difficult these days than it was even 2 years ago. And two, if we want to be findable in answers as well as part of the solution, even without links. You know, when you ask best retailers to buy shoes, ChatGPT, AI mode, AI overviews will just give you the list of the solutions without linking to them. There's no clicks from those answers. But as a brand selling shoes, you want to be part of that answer anyways. So at this point, the goal of online findability is dual, not necessarily it is about clicks. So the content format, continue with diversification. I've always been for diversification of content because it opens up more channels. It ranks you in Google Images, Google Videos, YouTube, Instagram, whatever your company cares about. With content diversification, it's much more effective. So continue experimenting with all kinds of formats and types. Structure your content the way that it is easy for AI to basically steal it. But the most important part here is making your products part of that well-structured, clear content that you want AI to steal. And then they will steal it together with understanding what your product does, and you have much more chances to be in those answers as well. So traffic is, of course, still nice to have. We still work on that. But being the part of the answer is also very important. And that's when you write an article, make sure that in non-promotional way, one of the steps, two of the steps, will detail how your brand, your product, whatever you're selling, is solving that particular problem and that particular step. It helps with that particular step. And that will be part of AI training data. It will be part of Google's knowledge base and index. It helps on many levels.
Okay, now, of course, many agencies are seeing sudden drop in organic traffic. So what's your framework for diagnosing and responding to these losses, especially when it's due to algorithm changes or AI overview?
I mean, that it has so many things have happened in so little time. So starting with the first helpful content update in 2023, which there was no confirmed recovery yet from. So starting from there, there were all mystical things happening, core algorithm updates, AI overviews, then AI overviews going public, then AI overviews going global, then another core update, then something else. Every month we saw something happening. So diagnosing is really an issue at this point. First of all, everyone lost traffic. I have yet to see at least one website who gained traffic or at least didn't lose any. No, no one. What I would right now focus on, instead of diagnosing what happened, because seriously, we don't have fixes for whatever happened. There is no recovery route from helpful content update. There is no recovery route from core algorithm update. Only theories. Well, if you improve your usability, you should be fine. In essence, we don't have any confirmed tactics to recover from those. So instead of trying to diagnose what and when happened, you will see traffic losses a lot throughout the past 2 years. I would focus on what you have now and where to go from here. Instead of recovery, you are changing the way you're creating content. You are changing the way you're building links. You are seeing yourself ranking on number 2 for a great keyword, and you think that that could be an opportunity. So work on that page. Try to make it better, more helpful, whatever you call it. So I would stop paying agencies for diagnosis of whatever happened throughout these 2 years and just start from fresh and just do the fresh start on what you have now. Focus on what you have now, because everyone is struggling. Trust me, you're not alone. We're all in the same boat. And what matters is how we go from here, whether we just quit, whether we adopt something new, listen to people who talk about create what matters now and will matter in 6 months. That will define where you're going from here, not trying to look at the past and trying, oh my God, I was hit by core algorithm update. Let's search how to recover. There is no recovery. Focus on what you have now, what is ranking on top of you. Try to figure out why they have more visibility. Use AI mode, AI, Gemini, ChatGPT to figure out what they are referencing and why. So look into the future instead of the past. I guess that's my bottom line here.
Okay, now, so how do you advise clients to diversify their traffic and income source to reduce dependency on Google?
And one thing that I need to write an article about that. I keep saying the same thing for about 10 years, maybe more. I have to look back and see all of those my articles that I've written throughout the years. They are more relevant even today, but businesses should have started doing that many years ago. So first of all, work on your brand. Forget about specific channels, because branding will for sure make it easier for you to adopt any channel. You can transfer audiences from channel to channel. You can rely on your name on the existing channel. If you are a recognized brand and very relevant brand, you will retain some organic search visibility and you will rank. I mean, there is no rankings, but you will be visible in AI engines as well. So branding is the core of anything you're going to do in the future. So this is one. The second one is build something of your own. It could be a newsletter. It could be a community. It could be anything. Two of those is probably good options. At least those I have direct experience with. That is powerful, because having the asset like that means you do not as much depend on clicks on new people coming to your site. You can rely both income-wise and marketing-wise on existing brand advocates, community members, newsletters, people who come back. Those two things are not easy to build. So if you haven't done that yet, they will work in any niche for any business. You don't have to have a huge community. My bloggist was huge, but true brand advocates were like 20 people. That was more than enough for any initiative that I was starting, be it Twitter chat, be it, I don't know, contest. We did a blogging contest all the time. Whatever I was trying to do, those 20 people were always on top of helping me promote, defending my reputation in comments in forums and so on. Those are key and gold for you. So it doesn't, if you're a small business, you don't have to have thousands of people on your list or in your community. But having someone, even if it's a small, tight community, the most important thing is that they're engaged and they like your brand and they come back again and again. Those two key components of a stable brand, whichever happens to all channels. Google is not the first to steal our clicks. Remember Facebook? At some point, they stopped showing any updates that have links in them. Right. To the point, LinkedIn is doing the same. To the point when we had to add our links in comments, and we still do that, because otherwise no one will see those updates. So they stole all that traffic. They didn't want people to go away from their platform, and they definitely stole those clicks. It's not the first time when we lose an organic visibility channel, or not even lose, but it becomes much less effective. If you have your brand and you have people who are loyal, that will carry you through any changes on any platform in any channel.
Right. Now, who do you think will win in the new search game? Brand, media companies, or creators?
Brands for sure. But that is talking about, if we talk about organic visibility channels. They are not search engines anymore so much, but they can still give you a lot of organic visibility through answering questions. Those brands are going to still be visible in those answers. If you did not build your brand a year ago, you should start now, because they are still actively training, they're still actively collecting data. It's still not too late. So brands will definitely win, as they usually do. They are winning SERPs now, they are winning on social, they will win AI game as well. But there's definitely place for influencers, creators, but they are not as much relying on Google or AI. They have their own methods of creating their personal brands through networking, through providing value, through being unique, through providing great content. So that's separate. I feel like it's still a huge sector that is going to still grow. The only thing is that I don't know how AI is going to hurt them on a different front. There are AI influencers now who pretend to be human beings, and they have humor, they create something as well. I think that will also mess up a lot of creators' content, but I believe and I still hope that people will still crave human touch. And even though there is still place for AI to take some of that sector, I feel like being human is still a huge advantage for creators community.
Okay. On the topic of brands, becoming a brand in the age of AI and EEAT. Now, I loved your recent LinkedIn post where you pointed out how Google Gemini AI is being trained using traditional search signals like PageRank. Now, what does this mean for the future of link building? Are we declaring it dead too early?
It is changing for sure. And I think I will talk about that this week in my newsletter and on my live stream as well. I will have a series of episodes about this particular AI changing the way we're doing SEO, including link building. So how AI works is through associations. So for example, you may not be linked. It's good. It's still great to be linked. First of all, yes, they still have that signal from Google, from Bing, and it's how you get discovered. It's still all about crawling the web. In most cases, there are still search engines, and that is still there. So getting linked is great, but getting brand mentions is also equally great at this point. So AI works by associating you as a brand, as an entity, to certain contexts and problems. So when someone is asking a question, AI goes through all those associations and picks you. If you have created a great relevant footprint in terms of links and brand mentions. So now for link building, the most important types of links are those that put you in the right context of problem solution, whether on your site or outside of that. So being listed or linked from listicles that list all kinds of solutions that you do as well.
Right.
Being mentioned in articles by huge publications as an expert, as someone who is solving problem in some relevant context. So PR is great because those news publications are really, really on top of training data, knowledge bases, indexes. And finally, Reddit. Reddit mentions, Reddit links are great too, just because both Google and OpenAI, the biggest players in the AI world at this point, they have partnerships with Reddit to use it as the training data for their AI. So all those mentions on Reddit of your brand in particular threads, yes, most of them are going to be negative, but being mentioned on Reddit is key to being in the training data as well. So both links and brand mentions on Reddit is also very important for training, not even just for Reddit visibility, which is really great. Reddit is huge. But for training, for AI training, it's very, very important. So yes, we still build links. There is no around way that you cannot just have your website and be findable by Google, by Gemini, by AI mode. No, you still need to go outbound and attract those external signals. So it's not really a huge change. We needed someone to talk about us, to link to us. Now we need someone to talk about us and hopefully link. It's the best case scenario, but just mentioning in brand is already great. So linking is changing, but it's not going away.
So when you mention about listicles and getting brand mentions, so I think, is it possible for SEOs, which always been, to manipulate most of it, to artificially create all of this?
Oh, they already are. Yeah, they already are.
Because previously it was not just one signal. You need to build backlinks on various parts of the web. Now I could just mention 5 sites or 5 places or communities where I could build brand mentions, and bingo, here you're going to get more better visibility in AI. Is that something we are of course seeing? Is it something you see more and more getting mainstream?
Yes, it is. Many SEOs are talking about that. Posting, faking those listicles, posting them on LinkedIn or Medium, whoever
Right.
is accepting those long form articles. All of them are being used by the training data. I would say this, if it's a good listicle, publish it. If you can manipulate a little bit, it's fine. Relying too much on a tactic that I don't think is going to be effective for too long. I mean, it's AI. It will self-train itself to just discount anything fake. I'm sure it's not going to take them too much time. It's been developing pretty quickly. It's becoming smarter as we speak. So I don't see that as a long-term tactic. manipulating those listicles and co-citations. So I wouldn't invest a lot of money in that because it will stop working. It will be wasted money for sure. I would rather focus and invest money in something long term, in getting featured on really great third party earned media, making connections with those people who create that content, figuring out how to work with them. It's much harder than manipulating. Our industry does like to find shortcuts. We all know that. But from the history of Google, from seeing how AI is developing, I just don't see that as a long-term effective tactic. So go ahead and maybe experiment with a few listicles. It's all about experimentation. I get it. I'm going to experiment for us in that as well. I wish I had more time for our own brand. We don't experiment with clients' brands. We only experiment with our own brand. And it's usually like on the very bottom of our to-do list. But I do plan to do something like that for sure, for at least like a little touch. Experimentation is great, but relying too much, and we've seen that throughout the history of SEO, relying on paid links, relying on guest blogging links, someone finds an effective tactic that can be easy. Companies just do just that, and that's it. They never look around for other things to do. They just invest all their money. Remember that everyone was investing all their marketing budgets into paid links. And it was working fine for a few years, I would say. They probably made a lot of money from that search visibility, but then they lost everything and they had nothing else to promote themselves. They just knew how to pay for links. So I would avoid that. Experiment, do other stuff. Okay, something is working, let it work, but do not do it 100% of your time. Do not focus on just one tactic. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Now, you recently wrote EEAT optimization is crap. Differentiate your brand to become a destination. Why do you believe brand building is more important than ever? And how should agencies shift their mindset from EEAT to brand building? Because at the end of the day, people keep on asking, is this content EEAT friendly?
I hate that when people say that, EEAT friendly. I will give a little bit of context too. Well, first of all, I apologize, but that's a clickbaity title for sure.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone needs to also read the whole article. So what I mean here, EEAT is, for if someone is watching us not aware of that acronym, it's introduced by Google as experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness. Those are criteria for human people, human readers, people who verify quality of search results, people, to evaluate every ranking page. It is not part of the algorithm. No one knows how that is translated into the algorithm, into numbers, into signals. No one ever had a clear case study, isolated success story that putting an authorship on your site or a few contact forms or about page, all those popular EEAT elements, that they really helped in anything in terms of visibility, traffic, rankings, whatever you call it. It's of course good idea if you have EEAT elements, you have to display them on your site. But what our industry decided to do, they started EEAT optimization services, and they were all about faking those signals. So that will be fake authors on the ad, fake reviewers, fake expertise, fake contact, fake address. It got insane to the point when Google noticed that problem and even added to their quality raters guidelines, look out for fake EEAT signals and report them, like, because we want algorithm to be able to spot them, to see them as well. So that's what I mean for the first part of my title. EEAT optimization is crap because you either have it or you do not. If you have it, of course, display it on your site. Make sure people see it. That's helpful for trust from people as well. It will help conversions. That will make your site look more legit. It will probably help Google. We don't know how, but it's always a good idea to have those elements. If you have them, for sure, make them part of your website and part of your brand. Most businesses do have some elements of EEAT that they forget or they don't know they need on their websites. That's great. Now, what really counts is how your brand is different from the crowd of competitors. What do you do in a unique way? It could be something little, but you help people with the same problems in a unique way. In e-commerce, that could be unique products you deliver from Canada with different quality, or you deliver from somewhere else, or you even produce them yourself and you have unique process, ingredients, maybe something unique you are doing. If you just provide products that that everyone else does, you can bundle them in a unique way, make it very easy to shop. You can deliver them in a different way. You provide maybe unique instructions of how to use them. You should be doing something unique and solve a unique problem. That's how Google likes you. People return to your site because you solve their problems and you become part of AI indexing, let's say like vector indexing, when they find specific solutions to specific problems. That's something I'm going to address on my live stream this week, exactly how to optimize your brand for AI. And there is a cool example from someone, I forgot a name right now, but I will reference in my newsletter. So someone gets to Gemini or AI mode, and they will ask, I want to buy shoes, but I need to be able to try them. How will AI understand how to solve that problem? So they know the shoe retailers and they find someone specifically with great return policies. So if you make sure that AI knows that your return policies are better, more convenient, faster, cheaper, someone will come to your door and even pick it up for you, something like that. If you make sure AI knows that you solve that problem better than anyone else, even big players, even Amazon, if you make sure that AI knows that, you will be part of that answer. It will bring you up saying, hey, this is the retailer, it's not as big as Amazon, but they have great return policies. So you will be able to try your shoes even before buying them, and then make sure that you either keep them or you return them. That is how you optimize for differentiating your brand from the crowd of competitors. And that is why it is more important, because without that, you're just part of the crowd. AI will not know which questions you are the answer to. And that's why it's the future. Most even small brands can differentiate themselves. They just hear branding and they're like, oh my God, we're small businesses, we cannot do that. No, it's not about how big you are. It's how well defined you are. How well you know the specific problem you are the best solution for. And then it could translate into regular SEO tactics, optimizing content for that problem solution, creating content somewhere else, reach out to those listicle authors and say, hey, we could be part of that listicle because we do X, Y, Z better. And hope you are there. Maybe you pay for that mention. Maybe you provide affiliate income to those publishers. Maybe maybe they just great enough to add you because you are a great addition. It will depend case by case. But the first step is defining which problems you are solving in the best and maybe unique way.
Okay. That actually answers my next two follow-up questions as well. One was, if Gemini and AI Overview are favoring brand signals, what are some actionable ways to strengthen your brand visibility today?
By the way, that is where I can bring up my personal story. So for AI, it is actually important how much you are mentioned across the web. But the more important thing is how many, which clear associations you have. For example, if you do too much, AI can be confused which prompts you need to be an answer to. Unless you are Amazon. Of course, Amazon is like Apple, Amazon, they're big enough not to care about that niche specialization. But let's say you are a retail store, lots of other shoe selling stores across the globe. How do you stand out? It's not exactly about how popular you are, but more about how well defined you are. And that's where I have a problem. Let's, for example, Aleida Solis. She has always been one thing, international SEO. That's it.
Right.
So anytime you're asking about international SEO, Gemini, ChatGPT know clearly who the answer to that prompt is. Now let's talk about me. I've been community manager, SEO analyst, project manager, project founder, content marketer, guest blogger. With this vague footprint, it's very hard for AI platforms to define which problems you're actually a solution for.
Right.
So, and I mean, it's for good and for worse. It's not that I was trying to do it. That's how my career was. But for AI, it's not the best place. It's not the best place to be. You need to define, to have a clear definition of who you are, or what your brand is, and where it fits. So, for example, because AI would interpret the problem, the prompt, in different ways. For example, if you ask the say, like, I want shoes that I need to try, it will definitely say, okay, so this is about shoes. He wants or she wants to buy the shoes. And instead of trying to find brands that let you try them, which is not many, AI is smart enough to understand, okay, I need brands with great return policies, and hopefully the best way scenario is that you do not pay for those shoes, like try before buy, those business models. So AI will likely search for that token, for that concept as well. So now AI has 4 criteria: buy, shoes, so buy is intent, shoes is what, and then for trying, it will probably look for great shipping return policies and try before buy concept. If one site, even a little one, does a good job being associated just with these 4 concepts, all they sell is shoes, that you can buy them right away, you can return them within 30 days, and you don't have to pay for them unless you keep them. If one brand, if it's the little one, clearly combine all these 4 criteria, it will be part of the answer. And that is the most important thing to understand. You have the clear differentiating, not vague one. It's not about the amount of brand mentions all across different contexts. You need to focus on one thing you do best, on your value proposition, and make sure that you have digital footprint that confirms it over and over again.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the tools, content, and SEO workflows. So, now and how the day-to-day of SEO is evolving. Now, what's one underrated SEO or content tool you think more people should be using?
Google. I search Google for any search query before I create content brief. I look out for mentioned brands. It's usually like related brands. search elements, if like
Mm.
they will clearly, even the positioning, if they're like image pack somewhere on top on page one, it's a clear signal that people are interested in images for that query. It's not always obvious. For example, if you search for something like bathroom design ideas, you may see that image pack. That means that people are mostly using for images. That's a great signal for you to add a lot of images on your page and make them unique and make them cool and interesting and all of that. Maybe from clients, something to stand out. I always look out for people also ask type of answers people now AI overviews, how AI overviews are answering that question, which type of citations they provide, because it's not always the direct answer in the citation. They will try to find something else, something more helpful. I always look for related searches. I always look for even search snippets, because Google generates them to be more helpful. So those little descriptions. I open a few high-ranking articles to see what they have to add, what makes them helpful. So I always.
Mm.
Oh wow.
Uh, it will come back. Sorry. You can continue. I'll cut myself out. Yeah.
Okay, so Google is the most underrated. Most people who write on content do not use Google before they create content. And it has a lot of little hints on what is helpful, what people can be searching after that, before that. So I would definitely encourage SEOs to just search Google more often before they provide content briefs to their writers, before planning content strategy, just to understand the buying journey around each query. How many 101 articles there, or maybe there's more advanced content. What else Google decides to add, because every SERP is generated just for that search query and that target audience. No search engine result page is the same at this point. So all those sections, all those little hints are there for a reason, because after 20 years, 20 plus years of testing people and experimenting with how they engage, what they seems to be more helpful with them, Google is the only company that has all that data. They know exactly what people need for each particular query. What we can do is to reverse engineer that based on search results, what we see, and what we can get out of that. So Google is definitely the must use tool, and you will not believe how many people do not use Google while creating that optimization strategy. They use all kinds of third-party tools, AI powered, AI driven, or just keyword research, something like that, but not Google. And Google is the best SEO tool out there.
Now, so has your approach to keyword research or content brief changed with AI and new SERP behaviors?
Well, I would say this. It has never been the same in the first place. I've changed it a lot throughout years. I think the most drastic change for personally my keyword optimization strategy was the introduction of featured snippets. That's when we started talking about optimizing for the answer engine instead of search engine. Structuring your content with question answer headings, using keywords in those headings. So I guess from there, AI is using the same principles. You just make your content very well structured for AI to be able to pull those answers from your content. It's very similar to feature snippet optimization, very similar. So I think that now it hasn't changed as much as what it was 10 years ago when feature snippets were introduced. Right now, it's pretty much the same. I've always been talking about giving very clear answers, very factual ones, so no vagueness, very yes, no, two-sentence explanation. That's the great answer that is very easy to get featured and now to get into AI as well. So I would definitely say not as much these days as it did 10 years ago.
Okay. Now, any AI tools you actually use in your writing or optimization process?
I use Gemini a lot, not for writing. I mean, I do use it for writing as well. It's great for generating meta description, brainstorming title tags, generating takeaways, generating comparison tables. Sometimes I create like a list of tools for some problem, and then I just copy and paste it to Gemini and say compare. And it will figure out which columns to have based on my own content. Summarization, conclusions, great. There are quite a few use cases for AI helping us create better, optimized, more useful content, because I always think about users as well. Comparison tables, charts are always useful. They make it very easy for people to make the right choice based on their own criteria. Takeaways are great for people as well, because that's how they skim and then understand which part of the article talks to their problems better. So it's great. It saves a lot of time. Meta description, I don't remember when I last wrote my own meta description. Well, I make it shorter after Gemini works on it, or choose combine a couple of options, but never write it from scratch anymore. So it has quite a few great use cases to make it more productive, but more useful content as well.
You have also talked about tracking rankings in ChatGPT and the rise of generative engine optimization. So how should agency prepare for this new era of search, especially tracking when you don't know which keyword is actually a challenge?
Not one perfect solution yet, I can tell you that, and I understand the struggles. We don't know, and in Google, you type the query, you see it in the URL bar. It's that easy. You get in the URL string, so it is visible to everyone. I mean, to everyone you go to the site from, because that's the referral URL. With ChatGPT, Gemini AI mode, you really don't see what's happening there. It's private room for everyone, so you cannot really do much about that. There are quite a few tools that measure your how much LLMs know about your brand, and they would suggest you which concepts you are lacking, how to stand out from competitors. So I would definitely look in that direction first. There are also secondary signals that we can measure and understand that we are doing well in LLMs, that include brand search impressions, brand search clicks. Those two are very important, because people usually go to Google after they discover your brand in an AI answer, because you don't get links there. They are not linked. Nothing is linked. So you have to copy paste the name and go to Google and search there. And then when enough people are doing that, you will see that growth in Search Console. Homepage visits, also direct homepage visits, can also signal of increased AI visibility. So I would definitely look out for these signals, and if you see a positive trend, that means that you are brought up in a LLM solutions more often.
Right. I think that's the only way, because with personalized searches, I don't think in future also it's gonna be too much possible. The only thing you can,
we're definitely spoiled. In these 20 years, we had direct links with easy attribution of clicks. We could measure how, when, where people came. If you think about before the internet, banner advertising, radio advertising, TV advertising, there was no such thing as that easy attribution, that easy measurements. So people and businesses were looking at secondary things like more people coming, more people asking, more people calling. So we are going back a little bit to that, not as much easy to attribute to something in particular, but the overall growth would be a good signal that you are doing the right thing or your agency is doing the right thing.
Right. Now let's move to the last segment, which is Reddit. Also, you've been doing a lot of Reddit, and I've seen a lot of your shorts and talks on Reddit. Now, why do you think so many brands fails on Reddit?
By the way, I just published like 5 minutes before this meeting. I did the unique survey personally, reached out to in-house marketing teams on LinkedIn and outside of it, surveyed 150 marketing teams about Reddit. And the results are 70% of those marketing teams think that Reddit is the marketing priority. 70% of businesses, like there are not exactly 70 something, about 70% of businesses see Reddit ranking for their brand search. And something like 80% of those threats are negative. So they may change buying decisions just like that. And yet, almost 90% of those businesses have never tried Reddit marketing. Even though it's a priority, even though it is already impacting their bottom line and their customers' decisions, just it's like not easy. And I get it. Reddit is not easy to understand. I have a few accounts there that I never use because I'm just afraid of saying something. It's just it can blow up so much. So luckily, my team, and that was the reason why I founded my own agency, was because that team was so great, and I wanted to have that separate. I wanted to have them. So my team has been doing Reddit marketing for about more than 12 years. I think close to 13 years now, way before it became a thing. We were using it for networking, community building, content promotion. It does have to be a very Reddit friendly content, not just any part of it. So something very eye-grabbing, non-promotional, interesting stories. So they know exactly how to use Reddit. They've been there for 12 years. They know what you can say, what you cannot say. So I 100% rely on their expertise on that. And we are lucky to be able to be the only ones with that amount of Reddit expertise on the market at this point. It is still scary for most brands. It's not easy to sell those services. Just don't get me wrong, because Reddit is so much misunderstood. And so like very secret societies, because it does include so many little communities, all with different rules, all with different accepted tone of communication, all of different even demographics. So it is scary when you try to get to know Reddit. But luckily we have that expertise. It's not mine. And I can tell you that I'm not as good at Reddit. I can research it. I can evaluate how much help you need, what direction we should take in terms of whether it's fixing, whether it's brand awareness, whether it's both, how not to use Reddit for it not to backfire. So I can do high level strategy, but it's up to my team to actually put it in action and do the tactical part of it. And I'm thankful for that for sure.
So what does a successful Reddit presence look like for a company?
First of all, always expect a mix of positive and negatives. Okay. So what you want to do is first control more of the sentiment throughout pages that you can moderate, you can send your employees. So the more Reddit threads you are in control of, the better. That's why in many cases, when there is a huge reputation management problem, which is, like I said, 70% of businesses I personally surveyed are experiencing. So if you have a problem on Reddit, creating your own micro community subreddit there is the best case scenario, because that's where you can actually send your happy customers to, have your own moderators to reply, to make clear, like, it's not, because Reddit is in essence a bunch of miserable customers. No happy clients will ever go to Reddit to talk about their great experience with the brand. I mean, they're like 2% of people will take the trouble to do that. Most cases, only unhappy customers are ready to take that trouble to find the subreddit, to vent, to be very unhappy about what they did. And let's face it, all businesses have unhappy clients at some point, whether it's a misunderstanding, whether it's bad customer support day, I don't know, it can go wrong, and I get it. In most cases, those people do go to Reddit. So having that little place of happy people that have experience with your brand is always helpful. We also do PR campaigns on Reddit, especially local subreddits or very niche subreddits. So those send very good signal, very good traffic. Those are very good as well. So I would say well-balanced presence on Reddit is the goal. So it's not just negative. Balancing it with PR campaigns, with your own community, posting from your company's behalf on there. That's the goal, because at this point, and my survey results confirm that, most companies are struggling with 100% negative sentiment on Reddit. And that can actually ruin the bottom line of the company. I have a very good client who has been in the market for 10 years, and one Reddit thread calling them a spam already resulted in 2 canceled contracts, huge canceled contracts for that client. They are investment company, and of course people invest using investment company, seeing something ranking for their search for their brand name, something like this company is a scam, get scared immediately. No one even reads the thread. They get very scared. So in many cases, it's a huge issue when people actually change their buying decisions just based on those thread titles, not even reading what's inside. So balancing it out makes a much more stable brand positioning, brand in organic search or outside of it.
Okay. We almost overshoot our time, so I'll come to the last section, which is a rapid fire question. So I'm going to ask you some questions. You answer first thing comes in your mind. Ready? Okay. Now, at a recent tool or tactics you are excited about.
I'm excited about AI mode. I mean, I shouldn't, but I like the quality of the answers that it provides. And I'm excited of using it because it gives a lot of understanding of how AI in general works and how the sites relies and so on. Sorry.
Okay.
I'll be fast.
One platform you are secretly bullish on besides Reddit.
Come again?
One platform you are secretly bullish on besides Reddit.
Twitter.
Okay. Your favorite quote or mantra that keeps you motivated.
It's going to be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end.
I agree with that. Advice for aspiring agency owners or digital marketers just starting out.
Build your personal brand. That's the only way. People trust people, even big corporations. invest into building time. I did it for free. I never paid for anything. I was just very active everywhere. And it's still possible to do it these days as well. Just invest in your personal brand. Is it the founder? If it's the public rep, if it's someone needs to have a personal brand in your company or hire one.
And in one word, describe the future of SEO.
The future is probably zero-click future. I imagine AI will soon not just make buying decisions, but also being able to buy for the client, for the user. So users will never even have to go to websites to go the full circle of discovery, decision making, conversion. All of that will soon be happening on AI platforms inside that little dashboard that they have with all the prompts and questions. Be ready for that. Optimize for AI visibility now.
Right. So with that, we came to the end of this podcast, and thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insight today. I know our listeners will walk away with a ton of actionable ideas, especially with AI and Reddit. Now, and for those who want to follow Anne's work, check out her LinkedIn, subscribe to her newsletter, and of course, visit Smarty Marketing. And once again, thank you, Anne.
Thank you for having me, and I hope I put something useful for you and your audience.
Yes. And thank you all for tuning in to the Agency Insider Show. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and share. We'll be back soon with more agency insights and digital marketing wisdom. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing. Thank you.